Well, good morning. Good morning, members. If you'll please come to the floor. I think the Rules Committee has arrived on the floor, so we'll get this party started. He's going to get right here. We'll get this thing started, get all of them in here, take a minute. Go ahead and make yourself at home for a minute, and we'll get started. Well, good morning, members. The hour convening having arrived. All members will please come to the floor and take their seats. Mr. Clerk, will you ring the bell? We're going to have the morning roll call. Morning roll call. All members present will please vote green to signify their presence in the chamber. And Mr. Clerk, will you unlock the machines? Representative Earhart. Have all members now voted? Have all members registered their attendance today? I think you have. If so, Mr. Clerk, will you lock the machines? Doorkeepers, will you please close the doors and keep them closed? As is our custom, we will begin our day with scripture reading and prayer by our chaplain, after which we will pledge allegiance to the flag of our country. Our chaplain this morning, pretty special day for him. I'll let him tell you how he knows this gentleman who our chaplain is, but we're going to allow the gentleman from the 144th House District, Representative Dale Washburn, to introduce our chaplain of the day. Representative Washburn.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, it is an honor for me today to introduce our chaplain of the day, the Reverend Kim Washburn. I also would like to introduce his wife, Susan, who is sitting over here just next to my wife, Donna, and also a member of his staff is with us today. Jamie Bailey is his children's director at his church, and her daughter, Bristol, is with us today. It is a special honor for me to introduce this gentleman. I have known him all of his life because I remember the day he was born in June of 1962, because I'm his oldest brother and he is my youngest brother. So I'm honored to introduce him today. Kim is the pastor of Greenwood Baptist Church in Jones County, which is part of my district. He has been there for 6 years. He is also a member of the Jones County Board of Education. He called me one day, Mr. Speaker, and he said, they want me to run for the Board of Education, and I don't know if I should or not. I said, well, absolutely you should. and I encouraged him to do that. But, Mr. Speaker, he didn't have any opposition. He got elected with no opposition. I've never been that fortunate. I always had to work hard to get elected. But he is a member of the school board, and he brings good common sense in his service there to the Jones County Board of Education. Very quickly, his story as a pastor is an interesting story. He was a businessman. He had operated a successful business for many years, and he continued to feel the call to the ministry. The church he attended needed an associate pastor, and he volunteered to do it for no pay. He said, well, I'll fill that role, but I don't want any pay. I'll just serve as that. The pastor left to go to another pastorate. They asked him to be the interim pastor, and then after 6 months, they issued a call to him to be the permanent pastor. So my brother Kim is a good man. He serves God because he's called to do it. He preaches the truth to the people there, and he takes good care of them. And so I am honored to introduce my brother Kim Washburn as our chaplain of the day.
Good to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kim.
Well, good morning. Mr. Speaker, I appreciate this invite and this opportunity today. I got to tell y'all, I've never expected to be standing before such a powerful and influential group, but here I stand. Just so you know, Dale has already told you he is my oldest brother. I am honored that he's my brother, and I have learned so much from him in life. I've had the opportunity to watch him be a husband to his wife, a father to his children, and I've watched him be a man of faith for my entire life. I don't think I would have had this opportunity any other reason except for I'm Dale's brother, so I thank him as well. I've really been thinking and praying about what I would say today, and this is it. You may not be blown away by this. You may think this is pretty straightforward, but I am, for sure, a very simple man. My word to you today is do good. That's it. Do good. You see, I believe that we are made for a purpose. I believe that God has a plan for each one of us, and I believe that each of you are not here by chance. I want you to listen as I read Galatians chapter 6, verse 9 and 10. And this is what it says. And let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up. So then, as we have the opportunity, let us do good to everyone, and especially to those who are in the household of faith. See, for me, this is really simple. I believe that God's word is true. I base my life on that. I believe that I was called by a holy God to speak the truth. And I believe in Galatians chapter 6, 9 and 10, it confirms that we should be people, if we follow Christ, who certainly tries to do good. Hear me today. You have been in a place in this position where you have the power to make change happen. You have the power to do good. I don't want you to misunderstand me. I know that y'all do a lot of good. I know that y'all do a lot of good work. My challenge for you today, my encouragement for you today is to start every day with that approach. You should approach this calling, and brothers and sisters, it's a calling. You should approach it every day with humble hearts. You can make a difference. There's still a lot of disadvantaged people in the world. There's a lot of elderly people that struggle. You can always restore hope to the people who have no hope. So my challenge today is do good. When my Savior Jesus Christ was asked the greatest commandment, he said this, and I paraphrase, love God with everything that you have. And when asked what was second to that, he said, love your neighbor as yourself. For us who call Jesus Christ Lord, and I do, we should put these commands in action every day. And when we do, we'll do good. I appreciate this opportunity. I hope I have stayed within my 5 minutes, and it is an honor to be here today. And if you would stand and pray with me, I would appreciate it. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, I thank you today for this opportunity to come to our state capitol. I thank you for the men and women in this room who sacrifice and diligently work to make our state a better place. I thank you for this speaker and all the people that work with him. And God, today here in this room, where so many things have happened for our state, I ask you to bless and protect these people. I ask for their hearts to turn towards you. I ask for their prayer lives to be real. And God, I ask that they work humbly to serve the state that they've been elected to serve. You are a good, good Father, a gracious Lord. And I thank you today that you have provided for me salvation. And I pray all of this in the most powerful and blessed name of Jesus Christ. And if you will now join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Brother Kim. That was good. You kept well with.
Do I?
Doorkeepers, you may unlock the doors. Brother Kim, we appreciate you and the family being with us today, and thank you for that message. And you're exactly right. We do appreciate you. Now we're going to ask the members to join you in that South Annie room and say hello and get some photos. Members, our doctor of the day today is Dr. Cody Gunn, brought to us by Representative Houston Gaines. Dr. Gunn is downstairs in the aid station. If you need his services, I'm sure he'll be glad to see you. Dr. Gunn, thank you for being here with us and serving the House and Senate in this building today. Chairman Hilton, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits, is recognized. Chairman Hilton.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker. While my March Madness bracket may be busted, our journal is not. Your Committee on Information and Audits has read the journal the previous legislative day, and we found it to be correct. He's got nothing.
Yeah, mine got busted out too, don't worry. Chairman. On the second day, yeah. Chairman Hilton, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits, reports that the journal of the previous legislative day has been read and found to be correct. Is any objection to dispense with the reading of the journal? Hearing none, the reading of the journal is dispensed with. Is there any objection to the confirmation of the journal? Hearing none, the journal is confirmed. Mr. Clerk, will you read a resolution establishing the order of business for the day? Mr. Clerk.
Representative Administration of the 104th moves found to be established as the order of business during the first part of the period. Unanimous consents. Introduction of bills and resolutions. First reading and reference of House bills and resolutions. Second reading of bills and resolutions. Report of standing committees. Third reading and passage of uncontested local bills and resolutions. First reading and reference of Senate bills and resolutions. Morning orders.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Is there any objection to adoption of the resolution establishing the order of business for the day? Hearing none, the resolution is adopted. First reading of bills and resolutions, the clerk will read.
House Bill 799 by Representative DeLoach of the 167th. The bill be titled Act Amendment and Act providing for the election of the Board of Education of Long County.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 800 by Representative Tarvin of the 2nd, Powell of the 33rd. The bill be titled Act to amend Titles 33 and 40 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to insurance and motor vehicles and traffic.
Motor vehicles.
House Bill 801 by Representative DeLoach of the 167th. The bill be titled Act to amend and Act to recreate and establish the Board of Commissioners of Long County.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 802 by Representative Kelly the 16th. The bill be titled Act to authorize the City of Cedartown, Georgia to exercise all redevelopment and other powers.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 803 by Representative Hatchett of the 155th. The bill be titled Act to provide a homestead exemption from City of Dublin Independent School District ad valorem taxes.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 804 by Representative Holly of the 116th, Dawson of the 65th, Belly 75th, Fry of the 122nd, Davis of the 87th, and others. Bill be titled Act to amend Code Section 16, 13, 30 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to purchase, possession, manufacture, distribution, or sale of controlled substances.
Judiciary non-civil.
House Bill 805 by Representative Hatchett of the 155th. A bill be titled Act to provide a homestead exemption from City of Dublin Independent School District ad valorem taxes.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 806 by Representative Rhodes of the 124th. Bill be titled Act to provide a homestead exemption from Oglethorpe County School District ad valorem taxes.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 807 by Representative Thomas the 21st, Parsons the 44th, Carson the 46th, Byrd of the 20th, Ridley the 22nd, and others. Bill be titled Act to amend and Act providing a homestead exemption from all City of Woodstock ad valorem taxes.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 808 by Representative Carson the 46th, Powell the 33rd, and Crow the 118th. The bill be titled Act to amend Chapter 2 of Title 47 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to the Employees Retirement System of Georgia.
Retirement.
House Bill 809 by Representative Carson the 46th, Hitchens the 161st, Powell the 33rd, Thomas the 21st, Crow the 118th, and others. Bill be titled Act to amend Article 9 of Chapter 6 of Title 40 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to speed restrictions.
Motor vehicles.
House Bill 810 by Representative Jaspers the 11th, Hawkins the 27th, Taylor the 173rd, Stevens the 164th, Newton the 127th, and others. Bill be titled Act to amend Chapter 64, Title 33 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to regulation and licensure of pharmacy benefit managers.
Health.
House Resolution 653 by Representative Osteen of the 169th and Burchett of the 176th. A resolution recognizing the United States military veterans and dedicating a highway in their honor.
Transportation.
House Resolution 654 by Representative Lupton of the 83rd, Lim of the 98th, Campbell of the 35th, and Cannon of the 58th. A resolution commending community Estrella.
Public and community health.
House Resolution 655 by Representative Powell of the 33rd, Blackman of the 146th, Stevens of the 164th. A resolution creating a House Study Committee on Gaming in the state of Georgia.
Higher education.
House Resolution 656 by Representative O'Lallier of the 59th, Anderson of the 10th, Oliver of the 84th, Williamson of the 112th, Hughley the 141st.
Rural development.
House Resolution 657 by Representative Chastain of the 7th, Burns of the 159th, Jaspers of the 11th, Cox of the 28th, and Wade of the 9th. A resolution recognizing Mrs. Emma Lou Stover and dedicating a bridge in her honor.
Transportation.
House Resolution 658 by Representative Thomas the 21st, Ridley the 22nd, Parsons the 44th, Scoggins the 14th, and Carson the 46th. A resolution honoring the life of Mr. David Allen Donnelly and dedicating a road in his memory.
Transportation.
House Resolution 659 by Representative Lumsden of the 12th and Burns of the 159th. A resolution creating a House Study Committee on Insurance Market Reform.
Insurance.
House Resolution 660 by Representative Chokas, the 151st, a resolution recognizing Mr. Lamar Hutchins and dedicating an intersection in his honor.
Transportation.
House Resolution 661 by Representative McLean of the 109th, Buckner of the 137th, Alexander of the 66th, Taylor of the 92nd, Tran of the 80th, and others. A resolution urging the Federal Railroad Administration.
Technology and infrastructure innovation.
Senate Bill 330 by Senator Estevez of the 35th, Halpern of the 39th, McLaurin of the 14th, Kemp of the 38th, and Harrell of the 40th. Bill be titled Act to provide a homestead exemption for City of Atlanta Independent School District ad valorem taxes.
Intergovernmental coordination.
Senate Bill 331 by Senator Dixon of the 45th and Ginn of the 47th. A bill being titled Act to repeal an act creating and establishing a joint airport authority for the City of Winder.
Intergovernmental coordination.
Senate Bill 333 by Senator of the 53rd. A bill be titled Act to provide a homestead exemption from City of Chickamauga Independent School District ad valorem taxes.
Intergovernmental coordination.
Senate Bill 334 by Senator Moore of the 53rd. A bill being titled Act to provide a homestead exemption from City of Tryon Independent School District ad valorem taxes.
Intergovernmental coordination.
Senate Bill 335 by Senator Moore of the 53rd to be entitled Act to provide a homestead exemption from Chattooga County School District ad valorem taxes.
Intergovernmental coordination.
Senate Bill 336 by Senator Moore of the 53rd. A bill be titled Act to provide a homestead exemption from Dade County School District ad valorem taxes.
Intergovernmental coordination.
That completes first readers.
Second reading of bills and resolutions. The clerk will read.
House Bill 778 by Representative Dickey of the 134th, a bill to authorize the assessment and collection of a technology fee by the Magistrate Court of Upson County. House Bill 779 by Representative Neal of the 79th, Bell of the 75th, Douglas of the 78th, Flournoy of the 74th, Scott of the 76th, and others. A bill relating to landlord and tenant. House Bill 780 by Representative Rhodes of the 124th, Williams of the 148th, the bill to provide a homestead exemption from City of Greensboro ad valorem taxes for municipal purposes. House Bill 781 by Representative Dickey of the 134th, the bill to authorize the assessment and collection of a technology fee by the Magistrate Court of Crawford County. House Bill 782 by Representative Stevens of the 164th, Petrie of the 166th, Gilliard of the 162nd, Hitchens of the 161st. A bill to provide a homestead exemption from Chatham County School District ad valorem taxes for educational purposes. House Bill 783 by Representative Richardson of the 125th, Newton of the 127th, Clifton of the 131st, Leverett of the 123rd. A bill to provide a homestead exemption from Columbia County School District ad valorem taxes for educational purposes. House Bill 784 by Representative Richardson of the 125th, Newton of the 127th, Clifton of the 131st, Leverett of the 123rd. A bill to provide a homestead exemption from Columbia County ad valorem taxes for county purposes. House Bill 785 by Representative Dickey of the 134th. A bill to authorize the assessment and collection of a technology fee by the Probate Court of Crawford County. House Bill 786 by Representative Mathis of the 133rd. A bill to create the Dodge County Building and Public Facilities Authority. House Bill 787 by Representative Harvin of the 2nd, Cameron of the 1st, a bill to provide a homestead exemption from City of Chickamauga ad valorem taxes for municipal purposes. House Bill 788 by Representative Stinson of the 150th, a bill to amend an act to create the Board of Elections and Registration for Macon County. House Bill 789 by Representative Stinson of the 150th, a bill to amend an act to create a new charter for the City of Oglethorpe. House Bill 790 by Representative Stinson of the 150th, a bill to authorize the assessment and collection of a technology fee by the Probate Court of Macon County. House Bill 791 by Representative Crowe of the 118th, a bill to amend an act to provide a homestead exemption from Butts County ad valorem taxes. House Bill 792 by Representative Moptown of the 17th, Gamble of the 15th, Gunter of the 8th, Smith of the 18th, Hong of the 103rd, and others. A bill relating to general provisions relative to magistrate courts. House Bill 793 by Representative Townsend of the 179th, Sains of the 180th, Deloach of the 167th. A bill to provide a new homestead exemption from City of Brunswick ad valorem taxes for municipal purposes. House Bill 794 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Neal of the 79th, Burnell of the 77th, Flournoy of the 74th, Douglas of the 78th, and others. A bill to amend an act creating the Clayton County Board of Commissioners. House Bill 795 by Representative Cannon of the 58th, Hughley of the 141st, Gilliard of the 162nd, Miller of the 62nd, Berry of the 56th. A bill relating to the Department of Public Health. House Bill 796 by Representative Lupton of the 83rd and Lim of the 98th, the bill relating to financing under the Quality Basic Education Act. House Bill 797 by Representative Petrie of the 166th, Stevens of the 164th, Gilliard of the 162nd, Hitchens of the 161st, a bill to create the Interagency Council on Homelessness for Chatham-Savannah. House Bill 798 by Representative Mathiak of the 82nd, Camp of the 135th, a bill to amend an act establishing the State Court of Spalding County, formerly known as the City Court of Griffin. House Resolution 611 by Representative Dempsey of the 13th, Cooper of the 45th, Hawkins of the 27th, Crawford of the 89th, Hatchett of the 155th. A resolution creating the House Study Committee on Abandoned Child Placement following hospital discharge. Through second readers.
Reports of standing committees. Mr. Clerk, will you read?
Representative Chris Irwin of the 32nd District, Chairman of the Committee on Education, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Education has had under its consideration the following bills to the Senate and has instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. Senate Bill 236, do pass by substitute. Senate Bill 63, do pass by substitute. Senate Bill 123, do pass. Senate Bill 82, do pass by substitute. Senate Bill 93, do pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Chris Irwin of the 32nd District, Chairman. Representative Beth Camp of the 135th District, Chairman on Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination has had under its consideration the following bill of the Senate. It's instructed me to report same back to the House with the following recommendations. Senate Bill 151, do pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Beth Camp of the 135th District, Chairman. Representative Rick Jaspers of the 11th District, Chairman on Committee on Transportation, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Transportation has had under its consideration the following resolution of the Senate. It's instructed me to report same back to the House with the following recommendations. Senate Resolution 231, do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Rick Jaspers of the 11th District, Chairman. Representative Beth Camp of the 135th District, Chairman of the Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination Local, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination Locals had under its consideration the following bills of the House and Senate and has instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 730, do pass. House Bill 742, do pass. House Bill 748, do pass. House Bill 749, do pass. House Bill 750, do pass. House Bill 754, do pass. House Bill 708, do pass. House Bill 769, do pass. House Bill 768, do pass. House Bill 770, do pass. Senate Bill 237, do pass. House Bill 743, do pass by substitute. House Bill 744, do pass by substitute. House Bill 745, do pass by substitute. House Bill 746, do pass by substitute. House Bill 772, do pass. House Bill 775, do pass. House Bill 776, do pass. House Bill 777, do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Beth Camp of the 135th District, Chairman. That completes the reading of the reports of standing committees.
Members, if you'll come to the floor, please come to your seats. We do have a local calendar this morning. We have 8 bills on that local calendar that relate to homestead exemption and require a recorded 2/3 roll call vote for passage. Members will please come to the floor. Third reading and passage of the uncontested local bills. If there is no objection, we will vote on the local calendar as a whole with a recorded vote. Hearing none, it is so ordered. Mr. Clerk, will you read the local calendar?
House Bill 730 by Representative Petrie of the 166th Chatham County. House Bill 742 by Representative Osteen of the 169th City of Broxton. House Bill 748 by Representative Smith of the 18th Carroll County. House Bill 749 by Representative Smith of the 18th Carroll County. House Bill 750 by Representative Cox of the 28th Forsyth County. House Bill 754 by Representative Horner of the 3rd Catoosa County. House Bill 768 by Representative Reeves of the 99th Gwinnett County. House Bill 769 by Representative Reeves of the 99th Gwinnett County. House Bill 770 by Representative Reeves of the 99th Gwinnett County. Senate Bill 237 by Senator Strickland of the 42nd Newton County. House Bill 743 by substitute by Representative Fleming of the 114th City of Social Circle. House Bill 744 by substitute by Representative Williamson of the 112th City of Walnut Grove. House Bill 745 by substitute by Representative Martinez of the 111th City of Loganville. House Bill 746 by substitute by Representative Williamson of the 112th City of Monroe. House Bill 772 by Representative Roman of the 97th City of Norcross. House Bill 775 by Representative Crowe of the 118th Butts County. House Bill 776 by Representative Jones of the 47th Fulton County. And then House Bill 777 by Representative Jones of the 47th Fulton County.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered on the local calendar? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bills? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall these bills now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bills on the local calendar will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk, will you unlock the machines? Have all members voted? All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk, will you lock the machine? On the passage of the bills on the local calendar, the yeas are 158, the nays are 0. These bills, having received the requisite constitutional majority, are therefore passed. Members, we have some morning orders this morning. How many? 8. Members, I'm going to ask you to hold your time to a maximum of 2 minutes. Maximum of 2 minutes. I want to recognize Representative Teddy Reese and the Columbus delegation. Representative Teddy Reese, Columbus delegation, if you'll join the gentleman. Representative Reese, hold up just for a moment. We have visitors here today with us that are going to be recognized, so give the Columbus delegation your full attention. Representative Reese.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Representative Rice. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Around this time of year, Mr. Speaker, we pause to recognize some of the best athletes around the state of Georgia when it comes to championships and competitions. And every year, Mr. Speaker, Columbus, Georgia is in that conversation because we produce a certain quality of athletes that tend to win state championships every year. And this year, we are excited to have with us the Hardaway Hawks varsity girls basketball team, who are the 2025 Georgia Class 2A girls varsity basketball state champions. Young ladies, if you would please stand and be recognized by the chamber. Mr. Speaker, they beat Murray County Indians 47-34 under the direction of head coach Kelly Ellison, as well as the magnificent principal of that school, Mr. Madris McNeil. Thank you guys for coming to visit us this morning. Welcome to the People Capital. We'll see you on the 3rd floor.
Congratulations. State championship, that's pretty neat. Do it again next year, right, Representative Reese? No doubt. Representative Barnes is recognized. And then Representative Yerta, you're on deck. Representative Barnes is going to have some folks that join her. Y'all give the lady in the well your attention, please.
Anyone else from the Atlanta delegation is welcome to come up. Good morning, colleagues. Today, I am honoring the life of Mr. Cornelius Taylor. The life and memory of Cornelius Taylor, a man whose presence left a mark on the hearts of all who had the privilege of knowing him. With deep sadness, we mourn his untimely death at an unhoused encampment on January 16th. But most importantly, we celebrate the remarkable life he lived and the powerful legacy he leaves behind. Born on October 8, 1978 in Walton County, Georgia, Mr. Taylor was a man of many talents. He wasn't just someone in the neighborhood. He was part of the fabric of the community, a presence as steady and warm as the morning sun. He engaged with his community, participated in local events, and found spiritual grounding at Ebenezer Baptist Church, a church that holds deep meaning in Atlanta's history and Mr. Taylor's life. While some may have seen him as unhoused, Those who truly knew Mr. Taylor saw a pillar of strength, a friend, a neighbor, and a beacon of resilience. May we carry forward his spirit by seeing the humanity in one another, by lifting up everyone around us, by living with the same integrity and grace that defined Cornelius Taylor's life. And today we have his family in the gallery. May his family stand. Sorry, they're up on the right. I thank you all for coming, and I graduated from Druid Hills High School in DeKalb County with his brother and sister, so I appreciate y'all coming, and thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Thank you, Representative, and thank you, family, for being here as well. Thank you, members. Representative Yoder is recognized for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We got a great group from Lee County here with us today, the Lee County Youth Ambassadors. The Youth Ambassador Program is a collaborative effort between Lee County Family Connection, Lee County School System, Lee County Chamber of Commerce, Lee County Library, and the City of Leesburg, and the Lee County Board of Commissioners. This is a unique program that helps bring a connection to their community while building confidence and leadership skills. They are provided with opportunities to volunteer in the community and are encouraged to incubate and implement community projects that encourage civic awareness. Last year they were introduced to local government. Today they are here to learn about state government. And it's the goal of their program to create a culture of community commitment. Today we have with them the collaborative partners attending, Patsy James with the Lee County Family Connection, Yolanda Robinson with the Lee County Schools, Jessica Zellride with the Lee County Chamber of Commerce, and Judy Powell, the City of Leesburg. Y'all stand up and let's give these folks a hand. They got up at probably 3:30 this morning to get here, so welcome to the People's House.
Thanks for being with us, and I appreciate your commitment to your community. We look forward to seeing you in the future. And also thanks to the Taylor family for being here with us today as well. Representative Lewis Ward is recognized for a morning order. And friends. Gentlemen, if y'all will clear that aisle. Yes, thanks. Representative Ward.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. Today we celebrate National Single Parents Day, and we recognize...
Lady will suspend just for a moment. You have some more folks joining you. Proceed.
Today is National Single Parents Day, and it's a time to recognize single parents across our state. In 2017, a former member of this House, former member Representative Valencia Stovall, led the efforts in Georgia to recognize single parents, and today we continue her work. Regardless to your journey and how you became a single parent, we want to say thank you, we see you, we recognize you, and although you are single, you're still not alone. Colleagues, please help me recognize in the gallery single parents from across our state. Valencia Stovall is still also in the gallery. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Also, members, I want to recognize a former member of this House, Valencia Stovall. Where are you? There she is. Hey, friend. Good to see you. Glad to be back in the chamber with us. Come see us anytime. You're always welcome. You know that. Appreciate your service. Okay, Representative Okoye and the Gwinnett delegation. Representative Gabe Okoye and the Gwinnett delegation.
It's not on yet. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, this morning I want to honor the life of Dot Shaw, as we call her. This lady was the hardest working Democrat I ever knew in Gwinnett County. She, at 81, knocked on thousands of doors canvassing, and she kept canvassing until Lord called her home. Dot was very personable, very stubborn, and always an achiever. This morning her family is up there. Can you stand, please? Right there. Yes. And we do have a resolution for her. Mr. Speaker, thank you so much. Can we have a moment of silence for her, please? Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield.
Thank you, Representative Okoye. Family, we're proud to have you with us this morning, and certainly our prayers continue to be with you. Representative Hilton and friends. You do have friends. Representative Scott Hilton. Ladies and gentlemen, please give the gentleman your attention, please. He has a special morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, today is my favorite days of the year. On March 21st, 3/21, we celebrate World Down Syndrome Day and some of the most amazing Georgians in our state. Down syndrome is the presence of a third chromosome in the 21st DNA strand and what many call the love chromosome. We are honored to be joined by Cheryl Arnaud with the Down Syndrome Association of Atlanta, Howie Rosenberg with Gigi's Playhouse, and so many family and parent advocates from all over the state. Please join me and let's give a big round of applause to the Down Syndrome Association and our friends here. Big group. Mr. Speaker, I will highlight today I'm wearing different colored socks. And if you notice my socks today, they're different colors because you know what? We are more alike than we are different. And I'll leave that with y'all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Representative and friends. Very special day for all our friends and family. Thanks for being with us and thanks for the work you're doing. You are appreciated, and we look forward to continuing to partner with you. Representative Santos and friends, everyone give the representative your attention, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
Buenos dias. Today I rise to recognize Latino Community Fund, Georgia's 5th annual Farm Working Families Day at the Capitol, a celebration of the contributions of Latino farm workers in Georgia. Georgia's agricultural success is built on the hard work of farm workers, many whom are immigrants. Their efforts ensure that our state remains a leader in producing food that feeds not only our nation, but the world. Let us take a moment to honor their invaluable contributions. Latino Community Fund Farm Working Families joins us today, and we welcome you to join them across the street at Liberty Plaza from 1 to 3 p.m. If you are here, please stand to be acknowledged.
On the right.
To the right. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the will.
Thank you, Representative Santos, and welcome to the People's House. Good to have y'all with us. Representative Bell and the Clayton delegation. Representative Bell and the Clayton delegation. Gentleman's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today, I would like to recognize a group of people down from where I'm from in Clayton County that in 2020 they say help save the Union by electing our first minority senator in Georgia, as well as our youngest senator in Georgia, John Ossoff. So to the right, I have the Clayton County Democratic Party led by Herman Drew Andrews and the first Vice Chair Nancy Howard, as well as the Clayton County Young Democrats led by Maya Davis and her first chair, J.P. Peterson. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield the will.
Thank you, Representative. Good to have y'all with us. We appreciate you and helping bring this delegation to us as well. They're an important part of the House. Thank you for being with us today. Members, that concludes our morning orders. We'll move on to the rules calendar. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption of Senate Bill 154?
Senate Bill 154 by Senator Hatchett of the 50th and others to be entitled an act to amend Titles 20, 35, and 43 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to education, law enforcement officers and agencies, and professions and businesses respectively, so as to revise or remove references to the United States Department of Education from the Official Code of Georgia Annotated. This bill I referred to the Committee on Education. That committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Chairman Dubnik is recognized to present the bill. Members, if you give the gentleman your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I bring Senate Bill 154 this morning, a truly simple bill that amends 25 different code sections in our code by adding or its successor in reference to the United States Department of Education. And on lines 65 and 66 just simply updates outdated language to bring FAFSA in to modernize our code. Mr. Speaker, that's the bill. Be happy to stand for any questions.
You have a question. Representative Sanchez to your right is recognized for a question. Gentleman's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
Yes, I do.
So this bill is, I'm assuming, are you doing this because you believe that the Department of Education is going to be removed, it's going to be getting rid of?
Thank you for the question. So the President and Congress have made it their intent and stated their intent. The executive order was signed yesterday for the U.S. Department of Education to be removed. All we're doing is updating. Be happy to share these 25 code sections with you so that we don't find ourselves in our code in a situation where we're out of date, not in compliance. Things, licensing, if you're a professional, it has to do with your licensing, so we wouldn't want to stop hardworking Georgians from being able to get their licensing.
Right. Does the gentleman further yield?
I do.
The Department of Education hasn't been rid of yet because executive order is not a legal way to actually get rid of it, correct?
Right. An executive order has been signed, and I'd prefer to get this done here during this session and not in a special session when our business owners and those who need to be licensed across the state of Georgia are calling us and asking us why they can't go to work.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, take a couple other questions.
One more, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Townsend, up the center aisle on your right. Is
Gentleman, you?
Question. Yes, sir, I do.
Is it not true that this is being proactive for the state of Georgia, and Georgia's actually getting ahead of the game, game planning ahead, and doing the right thing to protect our citizens in Georgia?
The gentleman knows of which he speaks. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for your time this morning. I'll ask for this body's favorable consideration on Senate Bill 154.
Gentleman's yielded well. We have one member who signed up to speak to the bill who's opposed. That's Representative Vermont. Good. Ladies going to speak in favor of the bill.
Give me parliamentary inquiries. I had to make do.
Well, you could have done that too.
No, I
But I did outrun you. You remember that?
Yeah.
I did.
Okay, anyways. No, you didn't. Anyways, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The lady's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, I am in favor of this bill, but I did want us to be honest about why we need a bill like this and talk through some potential ramifications that are coming down the pipeline. I want to be clear. I'm glad we're being proactive. It's actually a great thing when our bodies are able to work together from across the hall all the way to here to do something that not only is going to fix a problem, but also prevent it. But the reality of the situation is that this is something I brought up a few times this session, and I think it's starting to annoy some of you, but it's true. There is so much uncertainty right now because of the federal government, and nobody should have to live with that kind of uncertainty. There are parents who don't know if their kids are going to have the resources they need to succeed in school, let alone thrive. There are parents who are trying to figure out how to plan to make sure their children who require different types of assistance from the federal government, whether it's the education department or other departments, who are unsure how to move forward. And the reality of the situation is that when you walk into the government with a business mindset of move fast and break things, what you do is you hurt people. As much as I wish that government should be like businesses in its efficiency, a lot of these redundancies are actually really crucial to maintaining the integrity of the programs and their consistencies over time. Here's the reality. Not only are we going to be seeing a dismantling of the Department of Education, which is illegal, I want to be very clear. A president cannot unilaterally get rid of an agency. That is literally not allowed. It's not that the courts are opposed because of political reasons, it's just the way the government works. And with a bill like this one, we are getting ahead on some of these issues. We are able to provide some stabilities to parents. But the reality is, they shouldn't need it to begin with. And that's what really gets me, is that we are now having to deal with issues and work on issues that we shouldn't have to, even in the limited time that we already have. So now, instead of dealing with the already growing backlog of problems that Georgians have, we are now seeing an even bigger backlog because of the chaos on the federal level. And I want to touch on something that's really personal to me, which is student financial aid. As you know, and I've shared this with many of you in the crowd, I am somebody who took out student loans, and I've paid them aggressively. But the reality of the situation is right now, I do not know how much I owe. I literally don't know. My loan service provider doesn't really know. There's nobody really at the Department of Education that really knows because of all the chaos happening at the federal level. And I'm not the only one. There are recent graduates, older graduates, you name it, who are unable to properly financially plan because of that chaos. So not only is this touching people in their education, not only is this touching people, when it comes to prepping for their kids, it's also touching people in their pocketbooks. So one, thank you to those who brought this bill forward for being proactive and setting a really great example. But two, I sincerely hope that as we see more and more of these bills and these efforts, that we start to, one, rethink how we view government. Yes, it can be and should be more efficient. Yes, we should always be improving on it. I firmly believe that citizens should have the best customer service experience when they interact with their governments. And we can't do it in a really chaotic way. So thank you, colleagues, for giving me a moment to talk about that. Thank you to the bill sponsors for bringing this forward. And thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the will.
Ladies, yield the will. Representative David Wilkerson is recognized to speak in favor of the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I come down today, and I want to thank not just the author of the bill, but both the Democrats and Republicans that serve in the Education Committee. When this bill came from the Senate, we did what we do many times. We hopefully perfect it because it was not a bipartisan bill when it left the Senate. By adding the fact that this only takes effect if the Department of Education goes away, that changes a lot of things for a lot of people. The reality is that what's going on in D.C. is kind of like the weather of the last week in Georgia. We got a high 80 and a low of 30. There's a lot of change, and the only thing that you know is if you don't take care of yourself, you're going to get sick. And so what we're trying to do is take care of Georgia by doing this bill right now. So I want to thank the chairman of the Education Committee. I want to thank my colleagues in the House, and I want to thank the author for taking the amendment. And with that, I would ask everybody to support this bill and make sure that we continue to take care of Georgians the way we should. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield the well.
Gentleman's yielded the well. Leader Estration is recognized to speak to Senate Bill 154. I suppose you're speaking in favor as well.
Yes, sir, I am. Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I felt it necessary for me to get up here and just correct the record about something. As has been referenced, we often see policy decisions that are debated, discussed, and then acted upon in Washington, D.C. And our responsibility as Georgia legislators in our federalist system, where we have different levels of government, our federal government taking certain action, which we may be able to foresee and anticipate. It may be uncertain to us as we're a part-time legislature. We may be out of session when action is taken. And this is a circumstance where legislation has been brought in consideration of what the President of the United States has proposed now through an executive order to correct the record that's been said from this well here. That is not unilateral action. There's acknowledgement that Congress will have to act on that. But if Congress does act before we are back in session in January 2026, we will have taken necessary steps to make sure that our code is updated. And I believe that this is an opportunity for us to reflect our priority and focus on the education of Georgia students, and to embrace this not with uncertainty but with confidence. This is going to allow an opportunity to continue to prioritize students, educators, and professionals in Georgia classrooms. It's going to give an opportunity to ensure that every license, every training program, and institution in this state that provides education is able to function smoothly and effectively. Colleagues, we agree that education is foundational to Georgia's success, and Senate Bill 154 is an opportunity for us to show that we are putting in place smart and efficient frameworks to ensure that we respect local priorities, that we preserve continuity in our educational system, and to even open the doors for innovation into the future. I feel very strongly that this is a measure worthy of our support here today, and what I've heard from the other speakers is that we're of a like mind. But with respect, we shouldn't expand this to other political discussions here today. This is about prioritizing education in the state of Georgia, which we are able to do today in a bipartisan basis with a green vote on SB 154, and I'd urge your favorable consideration. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Gentlemen, has yielded the well. We have no further speakers on the bill. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee's substitute? Hearing none, the committee's substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk, will you unlock the machine? Have all members voted? If so, Mr. Clerk, will you lock the machine? On the passage of Senate Bill 154, the yeas are 144, the nays are 15. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption of Senate Bill 96?
Senate Bill 96 by Senators Eccles of the 49th and others to be entitled an act to amend various titles of the official code of Georgia annotated so as to modernize and update provisions creating certain boards, panels, authority centers, commissions, committees, councils, task force, and other such bodies. This bill having referred to the Committee on Code Revision. That committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Representative Matthew Gamble is recognized to present Senate Bill 96. Representative Gamble.
Thank you, Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. Today I bring you Senate Bill 96 on behalf of the Governor. This is a substitute, and this bill seeks to do two things. Number one, this will reduce administrative burden on state agencies by reducing the number of boards that have grown inactive or perform duplicative roles. And number two, it will restructure certain boards to function more efficiently. Now, the bill will repeal the following councils: the Environmental Advisory Council, the Jekyll Island Citizens Resource Council, the Stakeholder Advisory Council, the Governor's Office for Children and Families Advisory Board, the Georgia Volunteer Fire Service Council, the Palliative Care and Quality of Life Advisory Council, the Board of Homeland Security, the Employment First Georgia Council, the Georgia State Games Commission, the Lottery Retailer Advisory Board, and those were again all inactive or never met, and the responsibilities of those boards will be assumed by other entities that are either duplicative or exist in another form. There were two smaller changes made in this sub. The State Housing Trust Fund for the Homeless Commission and the Georgia Council on Lupus Education and Awareness will not be repealed, but they will be revised. The State House Trust for the Homeless Commission is included to rectify an issue in filling vacancies in unexpired terms. There will be an additional board seats added for the commission. And the Georgia Council on Lupus Education and Awareness will be moved administratively to the Department of Public Health to make recommendations on the distributions of funds designated for lupus education, awareness, and research. So those are the two things that were revised in the bill. And one other change on the Georgia Firefighter Standards and Training Council. There will be a volunteer firefighter added to that board to ensure that volunteer departments are always represented on that council. So that is in essence what this bill does. And again, I'm happy to answer any questions that there may be on Senate Bill 96.
The gentleman has a couple of questions. Representative Schofield is recognized for a question to your right.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Parliamentary inquiry? No.
No, you just ask him a question. He'll answer it.
Sorry about that. Is it not... Yeah, does the gentleman yield?
I yield.
Is it not true that we worked hard and the council was never dead or needed to be revised? It was just located in the wrong place. It was housed under DCH and we had to move it under DPH, and I appreciate all the work that everyone has done to get this settled.
That is correct, and we appreciate you and work to make sure, because that's something that you have helped us be very proactive with since I and you both were elected in this chamber, and I appreciate your work to raise awareness for lupus, and we want to make sure that that remains a priority with what we're doing here.
Further question, and is it not true that the house looks great when they put on their purple?
They look great when they put on their purple. That's correct. Thank you.
Good questions, good answers. Representative Campbell to your left is recognized for a question. Representative Lisa Campbell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
I yield.
I just have a question. You had mentioned that the councils that have been repealed, their roles and responsibilities would be taken over by other entities. Would you mind, for the short list that you read, relating to us which entities will take over each role and responsibility?
I would be happy to. The Environmental Advisory Council that has been active for over a decade, the EPD will assume their responsibilities. The Jekyll Island Citizens Resource Council has been inactive since its inception, and the Jekyll Island Authority will assume their responsibilities. The Stakeholder Advisory Council performs limited tasks that will be absorbed by the Erosion and Sediment Control Advisory Council. The Governor's Office for Children and Families has not been an active agency for over 6 years, and all their responsibilities have been absorbed by DHS. The Governor's Office for Children and Families Advisory Board will be dissolved, and as a result of the agency being dissolved, the DFACS State Advisory Board, which advises DFACS on the needs of Georgia's foster care system, will assume those responsibilities. As I mentioned, the Georgia Volunteer Fire Service Council has been inactive since its inception, and so the Georgia Firefighters Standards and Training Council, which has always performed the volunteer council's responsibilities, they will assume that, with the change of adding a requirement that a volunteer firefighter has to have a seat on that council. And there's several others, but I hope I addressed it. And I didn't know if there might be a specific one you had a question about, but yeah, thank you. Well, with that, Mr. Speaker, I would ask for this body's favorable consideration, and I yield the well.
Thank you for your presentation and your answers. The gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee's substitute? Hearing none, the committee's substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk, will you unlock the machine? Have all members voted? All members voted. All members voted? If so, Mr. Clerk, will you lock the machine? On the passage of Senate Bill 96, the yeas are 162, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption of Senate Bill 58?
Senate Bill 58 by Senator Albers of the 56th and others, to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 11 and Title 31 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to emergency medical services so as to provide for the licensing and operation of emergency organ transport vehicles as ambulance services. This bill having referred to the Committee on Health, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Gentleman from the coast, Representative Townsend, is recognized to present Senate Bill 58.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's my honor to present Senate Bill 58, the Georgia Transporting Life-Saving Organs and Personnel Act. Basically, what this does allows organ transplant vehicles to be classified as ambulances. Cuts down the red tape of having to go get an emergency permit every time you need to transport an organ. This now would have helped my family out if it was in current situation. Back in the day, 19 years ago, I donated a kidney to my daughter. I was at Emory University. My daughter was at CHOA across the street. They just went underground, under a tunnel to deliver my kidney to her across the street. Now, of course, if you do the Emory to CHOA kidney transplant, you're going to have to use those emergency vehicles and transportation. Plus, of course, these vehicles are used for when there's a cadaver donation as well. So this cuts down the red tape. I want to thank Colonel Hitchens, Department of Public Safety, for his work on this bill. We could not have done this, Senator Albers and I, without his critical input. And Mr. Speaker, that is the essence of the bill. There's quite a few small details in there, and I'll be glad to answer any questions.
The gentleman has no questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
The gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk, will you unlock the machine? All members voted. All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk, will you lock the machine? On the passage of Senate Bill 58, the yeas are 161, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption of Senate Bill 84?
Senate Bill 84 by Senator Albers of the 56 and others to be titled an act to amend Code Section 4286 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to special license plates promoting or supporting certain worthy agencies, funds, or nonprofit corporations so as to establish a specialty license plate honoring the Shepherd Center. This bill having referred to the Committee on Motor Vehicles, that committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
We're going to recognize Representative Townsend again. Now, y'all pay attention to him. This one has a little bit different language. Representative Townsend is recognized to present Senate Bill 84.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There's a little bit of difference here. The Shepherd's tag, the license plate we just talked about a second ago, is actually a different bill in the Senate now. It's being heard as we later today, I believe, or early next week. So instead of that, this is actually an organ donation plate. This was worked out in committee by both parties, and they felt it was best to do it this way. So everybody's on board with this. Appreciate Chairman Corbett's help. Basically, it's a license plate that recognizes the importance of organ donation. It's a non-revenue bill. And Mr. Speaker, that's kind of the details of the story. Again, the Shepherd's plate is alive and well in the Senate, and we'll get to do the agree over here hopefully early next week.
Thank you for your work, and thank you for the explanation. You have no questions. No questions.
I'll yield the well, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? Hearing none, the committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk, will you unlock the machine? Have all members voted? All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk, will you lock the machine? On the passage of Senate Bill 84, the yeas are 162, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption of Senate Bill 98?
Senate Bill 98 by Senator Cowser to the 46 and others to be entitled an act to amend Title 29 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to guardian and ward so as to provide for county conservators generally. This bill having referred to the Committee on Juvenile, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chairman Scoggins is recognized to present Senate Bill 98. Chairman Scoggins.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, this is Senate Bill 98. This comes to us from the Department of Human Services. This bill would be amending Title 29 to add 2 words, county conservatory. When the Title 29 was overhauled a few years back, they failed to include county conservator, and that's all the bill does, and I'd ask for your favorable consideration, please.
The gentleman has no questions.
Thank you.
He's yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk, will you unlock the machine? Have all members voted? All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk, will you lock the machine? On the passage of Senate Bill 98, the yeas are 162, the nays are 0. This bill having received the requisite constitutional majority is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to Senate Bill 1313?
Senate Bill 13 by Senator Summers of the 13th and others to be titled an act to amend Chapter 23, Title 50 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to Georgia Environmental Finance Authority so as to authorize the authority to finance and perform certain duties in connection with projects related to natural gas facilities. This bill having been referred to the Committee on Energy, Utilities, and Telecommunications, that committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Representative Angie Osteen is recognized to present the bill. Representative Osteen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I bring before you Senate Bill 13. It was authored by my senator, and it came as a recommendation from the Rural Development Council for the past 2 years. The Georgia Environmental Finance Authority offers low-interest financing for water, sewer, resiliency, and disaster mitigation projects to local governments. Senate Bill 13 would make natural gas infrastructure projects eligible for low-interest GFA financing. Douglas and Coffee County, where I live, is out of capacity. We can no longer attract any industry with a natural gas requirement due to the lack of capacity. This capacity is tied to the Albany-Douglas lateral gas line that is in desperate need of repair. Senate Bill 13 would give Douglas Coffee County an additional tool to help finance the needed upgrades. The House Energy, Utilities, and Telecom Committee added language to include the conversion of electric lines to underground. Given the experience of my community during Hurricane Helene, this measure will assist South Georgia and the state with electrical grid resiliency. With that, Mr. Speaker, I'll yield for a couple of questions.
Lady has no questions, but we do have some speakers on the bill, but lady has no questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Ladies yielded the well. I'm going to recognize Representative Vermon to speak to the bill. Then Representative Drenner. You're speaking as well. Representative Vermon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, to be quite honest with you, I haven't fully decided how I'm going to lean on this until the vote happens, but there is something that really concerns me about this bill, which is the piece on natural gas. All session, we've talked a lot about cost shifting between consumers and the public to private, et cetera, and I don't think that this is the body to be helping natural gas companies. At the same time, we do have communities that really need this because of Hurricane Helene. The reality of the situation is that far too often in this chamber, we do tend to prioritize companies when we make these kinds of decisions, and it's really, really disappointing. But this is also a moment to help a community. And so I'm frankly rising here today to show you that this is a moment where we are having to seem like we're doing something good, but it might be incentivizing corporations to expand, for example, their reliance and their use of natural gas. If it was up to me, I would be relying on more sustainable forms of energy where the local community wouldn't need a bill like this. And my hope is that as we continue to work on these issues, we make our communities more weather resilient. Because Hurricane Helene isn't going to be the only hurricane that is going to hit our state. As much as I wish it was, that is not the case. And so my hope is that instead of continuing to do these Band-Aids and continuing to sort of, one, give money to these corporations that do contribute to a lot of these weather patterns, that instead we start to think about how do we also work on prevention and strengthening our infrastructure on the front end. So, you know, this is one of those moments where this is going to be a vote that I'm going to keep weighing, but I do appreciate the need for the community. I also do appreciate that we're going to be burying power lines because, again, that's a proactive measure that we need to be doing. But I do want to invite this body to please consider weatherproofing and weather strengthening our infrastructure so we don't have to keep doing this year after year. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the will.
Ladies, yielded the will. Representative Drenner is recognized to speak to Senate Bill 13. Representative Carla Drenner. Give the lady your attention, please. Representative Drenner.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, today I rise in opposition to Senate Bill 13. This bill represents a misguided expansion of the Georgia Environmental Finance Authority's mission, pushing our state government into an area best managed by the private sector and local authorities. This is not just bad policy. It is government overreach wrapped in the guise of infrastructure investment. First and foremost, let us not forget why GFA was established. GFA was created to manage federal funding for drinking water and wastewater projects. It was never intended to become a clearinghouse for natural gas infrastructure. In fact, there are no federal funds designated for natural gas projects within GFA's mandate. We are already struggling to meet funding needs for vital water projects with the applications for Clean Water State Revolving Fund and the Drinking Water Revolving Fund, exceeding the funding limit by hundreds of millions of dollars. Diverting resources to natural gas, particularly with clean energy projects, are already under threat, is short-sighted. Moreover, this bill would insert state government into areas where the private sector is fully capable of managing supply, distribution, and financing. Let's be clear, natural gas is a commercial commodity, and private companies already have the expertise and capacity to develop and maintain this infrastructure. Why should the state take on financial burdens and risk that are better managed by the private sector? This is not about promoting economic development. It's about government intrusion into a market that does not need it. And while proponents claim that burying power lines as a part of GFA's mission will make our state more resilient, I urge caution. Federal resilience funding is uncertain at best, and we should not be rushing to overextend GFA's responsibilities without a clear and sustainable funding strategy. Let's also examine the motivation behind this bill. This is not a grassroots movement driven by local governments or the people of Georgia. Instead, it's driven by the Municipal Gas Authority of Georgia, seeking to use state resources to prop up its own business interest. This is not sound policy, and it is not in the best interest of our citizens. Let us not forget that we have been down this road before. The predecessor to this bill was HB 1294, and it failed for good reasons. Even in the waning hours of last session, desperate attempts to tie it to other legislation could not salvage its flawed premise. Now we are seeing the same proposal resurrected, but the underlying issues have not changed. This bill is nothing more than government overreach disguised as economic development. It risks public resources to benefit a few special interests while doing nothing to truly modernize our energy infrastructure or secure long-term sustainability. I urge you to vote no on SB 13 and keep GFA focused on its original mission, protecting our water resources and promoting environmental stewardship. Thank you.
The ladies yielded the well. Chairman Corbett is recognized to speak to Senate Bill 13. Chairman Corbett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, I rise today to express my strong support for Senate Bill 13. This is a pivotal piece of legislation that seeks to empower the Georgia Environmental Finance Authority, GFA, to finance and oversee projects related to natural gas facilities. This bill represents a forward-thinking approach to bolstering our state's energy infrastructure and ensuring a reliable and sustainable energy future for all Georgians. Natural gas has long been a cornerstone of Georgia's energy landscape, providing a cleaner burning and efficient source of power for our homes, businesses, and industries. By enabling GFA to actively participate in the financing and management of natural gas projects, we're taking a decisive step toward modernizing our energy infrastructure. This modernization is crucial not only for meeting the growing energy demands of our state, but also maintaining our competitiveness in an ever-evolving energy market. You know, it was talked about this is just for companies only. That's not true. There's 5 counties in this state that has no natural gas. I represent one of them counties. This is critical to them. It just gives them another tool in the toolbox to be able to get that funding they need to help with other finances to be able to get a gas line run to the county. It's very expensive to get the line there. Once they have the line, then economic development can come. But you can't until you have the gas there. Our chances for getting economic development in that county is very limited. So I ask you, please support this bill. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Gentlemen, are you yielding the well, or are you taking a question? All right, we'll let you answer one because you have one. Representative Martin, to your right, is recognized for a question.
Gentleman, yield for a question.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I'm fighting with them. Isn't it true, since the previous speaker brought up 1294 from last year, if the gentleman would agree with me that bill did come before this body, and I'm looking here on February 29th, 2024, it passed this body. I believe exactly the same language that's in the portion that deals with gas, 155 to 7. Is that not true?
That is correct. This is a bill that our friend Clay Perkle brought last year. It's very much needed, and it came about from the Rural Development Council that I've been on for the last 7 years. This was a recommendation that come from the Rural Development Council. And again, I will appreciate your support, and thank you for the question.
Gentlemen, you yielded the well? Oh, okay. That time you meant it. Whip Burchett is recognized to speak to Senate Bill 13. Whip Burchett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just to put before you the reason the bill came, I represent Coffee County, and as was mentioned up here, this is to allow for GFA to loan for natural gas infrastructure for municipalities that deliver those services to our Georgians. It is not for a private company or private industry. In fact, the private gas industry and the Georgia Municipal Association have come together and said, worked out the issue with the territory of the private industry so that they're not infringing on them. And this simply, folks, this is simply just to allow for these municipal gas companies to be able to borrow money to increase the capacity so they can deliver more services to their citizens. And that's really it. There's no nefarious activity here. I don't believe this is government overreach. This is allowing Georgians to be able to have more access to gas. It was a recommendation by the Rural Development Council. Again, I don't believe there's any nefarious activity whatsoever here. This is for Georgians to have access to gas. And with that, Mr. Speaker, also I wanted to say that earlier this session, February 20th, this bill passed, House Bill 51, 120 to 55 in this chamber. So it was, not even as far back as last year. We've passed this measure already one time. I respectfully request, if you want to support Georgians and their ability to access to gas through a Georgia Municipal Association, please vote for the bill. Thank you.
You have questions, or you're yielding?
I'll take the question.
Gentleman's going to yield for a question. Representative Hefner, to your left, in the back, is recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
I do.
Is it not true that in Augusta-Richmond County, I represent a district that has over $500 billion of infrastructure in development? However, I do not have the infrastructure to support new housing. Would this bill not support an area like mine to allow for the utility infrastructure in order to build to accommodate housing for those new jobs in my area?
Yeah, I believe it would.
Thank you very much, sir, for the bill.
Thank you for the question.
The gentleman yield for a question from Chair Lady Hagan to your right.
I do, yes, sir.
Do you yield for a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you agree that those that live in rural Georgia are equally as important as those who live in suburban and urban areas of the state?
I agree entirely.
Would you yield for another question?
I do.
Do you also agree that given the rural geography, the isolated, often geography of many areas of rural Georgia, that we have unique concerns and challenges when it comes to meeting the needs of our constituents?
I agree wholeheartedly.
And so do you agree that this bill is needed because our communities need access to natural gas in order to operate and have development, investors, opportunities for the people that we represent, and that is why this bill is crucial for the development of our rural economy?
I 100% agree. And just to put it in simple terms, essentially what we have, by the time the gas infrastructure gets down to where we are, the pipe is so small, we have a limited capacity. So what we're trying to do is allow for a mechanism for a Georgia Municipal Association to upsize that pipe so that we can put more people on gas, and that's the simplicity of the bill. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I appreciate it, and I yield well.
Gentleman has yielded the well. That completes our discussions to this point on Senate Bill 13. So, is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee's substitute? Hearing none, the committee's substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk, will you unlock the machine? Have all members voted? For what purpose does Representative Buckner rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Isn't it true that I live in an extremely small populated area of the state?
That's very true.
Isn't it further true that when our gas situation in two of our very small cities was in jeopardy of being able to stay in compliance with all the rules and regulations with their local city gas-owned companies, that private companies came and helped them out, and they have been great partners for our community and have supplied our citizens?
I'm sure the lady knows what she speaks.
Further inquiry.
One more.
This is the point I really want to make. With all the interest in picking places for data centers in our state, I feel that this bill puts our water resources in jeopardy even further because of the tremendous amount of water that data centers use, and that if we have them diverted to doing gas that can be done by the private sector, we may be sorry. Thank you.
Thank you for the inquiry, and I'll just say that every community is different, and what its needs are and what the opportunities are, and we're having a robust discussion around our resources, energy and natural resources, through a process we're working through with our working group. For what purpose does Chair Lady Camp rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Isn't it true that GFA loans are just that? They're loans that municipalities and governments take out to do specific projects to improve infrastructure, and they are repaid to GFA, so in the future more projects can be funded.
I think the lady's up to date and has read the manual. understands what JIFA does. All members now voted. If so, Mr. Clerk, will you lock the machine? On the passage of Senate Bill 13, the yeas are 109, the nays are 50. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Thank you, members. That completes our rules calendar. Now we're going to be proactive. We're going to begin on our agrees and disagrees as they come about when they're available and when we have the time to do them. So on your desk, you have an agree here this morning. So I'm going to recognize Representative Burchett for a motion. Representative Burchett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I make a motion that we agree to the Senate substitute to House Bill 223.
Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption?
House Bill 223 by Representative Burchett of the 176th to be entitled Act to amend Title 48 of the Fiscal Code of Georgia Annotated relating to revenue and taxation so as to exclude from the calculation of taxable net income certain disaster relief or assistance grant program payments.
Recognize Whip Burchett to explain the Senate substitute. Representative Burchett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, I have before you House Bill 223. If you recall, this is a part of the Hurricane Helene recovery package, specifically addresses issues for farmers and foresters. In the Senate, what the Senate added to the provision was a piece that allows for to postpone or do away with the severance tax for all these affected counties. The severance tax is the tax that counties collect when you cut your trees, because when you cut your trees, the counties get a dollar tax based on the volume of the trees cut. And what this does is suspend that tax, but it allows for the Department of Revenue to reimburse those counties for that lost revenue. And the reason that this is important is that if we were to, at this point, utilize the severance tax, the counties would receive actually less money because the value of the product is much less now because of the damage and the flood on the market. What this will do is the last 3 years average price is what the counties will be reimbursed at. That is the addition of what the Senate made to House Bill 223, and I'll stand for questions, Mr. Speaker.
Minority Leader Hughley is recognized for a question right out in front of you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
Yes, ma'am.
What is the additional cost to the state for the add-on from the Senate?
I don't have the additional cost right now. I do not have the additional cost.
Thanks.
I apologize, but I can get it to you. I will get it to you. There is a fiscal note on the bill.
Representative Hefner to your left is recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
Yes.
Is it not true that this bill provides additional measures for timber farmers like those that were affected in my area due to Hurricane Helene, where they would otherwise have not received compensation from their insurance provider, or prevents them from having to now go into some sort of litigation?
Yeah, I very much agree with that.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I want to make sure to be clear. What I said earlier, severance tax is calculated based on the value of the wood. That's why and not on the volume of the wood. So that's why it's important that I believe that we pass the bill so the counties get more than what the reduced value is because of the damage of the trees. And, Mr. Speaker, if there's no more questions, I yield the well.
We have other questions. You can yield the well, whatever you'd like to do.
I'll take one more question.
Representative Jasmine Clark to your left is recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
Yes, ma'am.
So you mentioned that we are basically suspending this tax. Is there a sunset on the suspension, or is it indefinite?
Oh, yeah. Thank you for bringing that up, Representative. We're suspending the tax only for the final quarter of 2024 and for 2025. And this is also a permissive by the local municipality or local governing authority. They do not have to suspend the tax, but it is in their best interest to suspend the tax. But yes, ma'am, that's a very good question.
Thank you.
Yep.
The gentleman has one more question. Representative Chaz Cannon to your right would be your last question.
Does the gentleman yield?
Just
yes,
you covered the last point, but I want to make sure to clarify this point. This is optional, not required for counties to participate in.
Yes, sir, and I know the gentleman knows well of what this bill does. Thank you. But with that, Mr. Speaker, I yield the well.
Gentlemen, yield the well. On the gentleman's motion that the House agree to the Senate substitute to House Bill 223, all those in favor will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk, will you unlock the machines? Have all members voted? All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk, will you lock the machines? On the gentleman's motion that the House agree to the Senate substitute to House Bill 223, the yeas are 153, the nays are 0. And the House has agreed to the Senate substitute to House Bill 223. Members, we do have some afternoon orders, so hope you'll stay with us. Mr. Clerk, we're going to do them in just a minute. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to a group of privileged resolutions? Mr. Clerk.
Honoring the life and memory of Barry A. Brown. Honoring the life and memory of Judge William F. Lee, Jr. Honoring and commending Mazal Tazazo, a survivor of the October 7th massacre. Recognizing and commending Judge Brian Culpepper, Jr. for his outstanding public service to the state of Georgia, the judicial branch, and the community at large. Commending Dr. Johnny Savage, recognizing March 17, 2025 as Profound Autism Day, honoring the legacy of Kelly Nellen Clark, congratulating the Lowndes County High School baseball team for winning the 2024 GHSA 7A State Baseball Championship, recognizing and commending Tanisha Lynette Dixon, recognizing and commending Councilwoman Dr. Melody Kelly, recipient of the 2025 Georgia Single Parent Fifth Legacy Builders Award, commending Sheriff Terry Deese upon his retirement from the Peach County Sheriff's Department, celebrating the 200th anniversary of Decatur Presbyterian Church, Decatur, Georgia, commending Sister Terry Ollie, recognizing and commending Hayward Tucker, commending Evetta B. Washington, recipient of the Woman on Purpose Award, recognizing and commending Dr. Brown Reeves, commending the Happy Hitters of North Atlanta, commending and congratulating Cole Creel, congratulating the Linear County High School baseball team for winning the GHSA Class A Division II State Baseball Championship, recognizing and commending Lowndes County on the occasion of its bicentennial, congratulating the Linear County High School Lady Bulldogs for winning the GHSA Class A Division II State Softball Championship, recognizing and commending Kenneth Rogers Bridges, recognizing and commending the Sunshine House on its 50th anniversary, commending Paulding County social workers during National Social Workers Month, and recognizing and commending Ego Mang Nuo Keku Undu Kue. And for other purposes, that completes the reading of the privileged resolutions.
Is any objection to adopting the privileged resolutions? Hearing none, the resolutions are adopted. Okay, members, need your attention. We're going to move on to afternoon orders in the late morning time. Let's get her done. So we're going to begin with Representative Mac Jackson. Representative Jackson is recognized for an order. Give the gentleman in the well your attention, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, I have in my hand a copy of the Constitution of the United States of America. And the 13th Amendment says, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime, where the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. Now, yesterday, a distinguished member, a colleague of this House, told me that she had given me a contribution. And she said it with so much rage and anger until all I heard was the word hate. And hearing hate, it took me back to growing up in the 60s when hate was seen and heard. Her anger and rage reminded me of Bull Connor. It reminded me of George Wallace. It reminded me of colored water fountains, white water fountains, and bathrooms. And then I realized that somewhere in her subconscious mind, she thought that she had bought me and my freedom to choose. I looked up the definition for hate, and it says intense or passionate dislike for someone, extreme dislike or disgust, to despise. Well, I gave her money back because I don't want anyone to think that they own me and can talk down to me as if I'm a child. The chains and shackles that she thought that she had on me had to be broken, because in that very instance, I realized that she only tolerated me as long as I went along to get along. I was never allowed to be free. Then another distinguished colleague approached me and let me know how much money she had given me. And I think she thinks that she bought me too with a check, but she'll get her money back too. I was reading a narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass, and I saw where he had to pay for his freedom twice. But then I got a note this morning from another very distinguished colleague. And the note said, please refund me the campaign contribution I made to you. And I'll do that. I'll refund everything, because I don't ever want anybody to think that they own me. You see, I'm very confused, because when I came in here, I thought I was coming in to represent the people of District 128. I would be their voice in the Georgia General Assembly. And I have all these people that have been meeting with me and talking to me about issues. And I thought that I could be their voice when they talk to me. But I need remedial legislative 101, because I don't understand what's going on. Then one colleague asked me, how much were you given, or how much did they offer you? Well, I must be the dumbest person in here, because I didn't get anything. But I'm still wondering why people think that they can own other people when slavery was outlawed by the 13th Amendment. And when we were in the civil rights movement, we used to sing, before I be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Thank you, Representative. He has yielded the well after his afternoon order. Representative Herring, Representative Parrish, and the Macon-Bibb delegation going to talk about some cherry blossoms.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. On a lighter note, happy Friday, happy spring. And I'm here to talk about the cherry blossom. Today, I'm proud to recognize one of Georgia's most cherished celebrations, the International Cherry Blossom Festival, held annually in my hometown, along with Representative Parrish here, Macon, Georgia, the cherry blossom capital of the world. Beginning today, March through March 30th, Macon will welcome the world to our beautiful city. Each spring, more than 350,000 Yoshino cherry tree blossoms, transforming Macon into a spectacular sea of pink blossoms. This remarkable festival brings together families, neighbors, and visitors from all around the globe, fostering community pride and unity through cultural events, music, and Southern hospitality. The festival is not only a celebration of natural beauty, but also a testament to Macon's vibrant spirit, diverse heritage, and warm-hearted community. Right now, our trees are at their peak, so I encourage everyone to join us in the experience of Macon's magical Cherry Blossom Festival, and know that this is a true jewel of Georgia. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield the well.
Hey, Mr. Speaker, I got one thing I want to say. please?
Yes, you're from Macon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So you all know that the Cherry Blossom Festival starts tonight. Our gala is tonight. Y'all come on to Macon. Probably can't get tickets to it now because it sells out every year. However, it's a 10-day celebration, so you got 10 days to get to Macon and come on, party, because it's the pinkest party in town. We'll see y'all there. Thank you.
That's what I like to do.
Members, I hope you'll help me welcome a former member and a good friend back to this house, Representative Winfred Dukes. Y'all, let's make Winfred happy. Make him happy because he's welcome back here. A dear friend. Good to see you, Winfred. Good to see you. Representative Seabaugh, recognized for an afternoon order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, members of the House, I rise today to recognize Miss Sally Grubbs for her exceptional service as chairwoman of the Cobb County Republican Party. Her steadfast leadership and tireless dedication have been an inspiration to so many in our community and across the state. During her tenure, Sally worked relentlessly to strengthen the foundation of our party, build grassroots momentum, and support Republican candidates at every level of government. Her commitment to conservative values, unity, and civic engagement has left a lasting legacy. Sally has been a mentor to many, a motivator, and a bridge builder. Her ability to bring people together to advance shared goals and her unwavering focus on policies that benefit families, businesses, and communities have profoundly impacted Cobb County and beyond. On behalf of the citizens of Georgia and the citizens of Cobb County, I extend our deepest gratitude to Sally Grubbs for her service, her leadership, and her vision. Her contributions will continue to inspire as we strive to uphold the principles and values she has championed so passionately. Thank you, Sally. May God bless you, and may God continue to bless this great state of Georgia. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Representative Berry is recognized for an order. Representative Berry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today not as a legislator, not even as a teacher, but as someone who simply believes in the American dream. It is no surprise that such an unconstitutional and reckless executive order to abolish the Department of Education came from the President and his lapdogs to the Project 2025 agenda to harm our children's future and dismantle the very foundation of equal opportunity in America. This is not about improving education or even giving more power to the states. I can't even begin to think of the reason or its practicality. But let me give you a breakdown. The Department of Education ensures that students with disabilities get the support they need, that students with low-income backgrounds can eat during the day and in the summertime, that our schools have the critical safety grants. I want to make it clear to every single Georgian that Donald Trump, the majority in Washington, and his allies want to tear that all down, to punish teachers, to erase history, and make education a privilege for the wealthy. Public education is a right, not a privilege. Donald Trump and his allies want to hand our schools over to private corporations and extremist ideologues, but we will not let them succeed. I believe we have a responsibility as legislators to defend the right of every child to a quality public education. And we will never allow a failed, twice impeached con man to destroy the future of our children. So I call on every student, every teacher, every parent, and every American who believes in the promise of America and its dream for opportunity for all. Rise up, speak out, and organize. This is a fight for the soul of our nation. If we do not stop this unconstitutional executive order, they will come for more. Our schools, our libraries, our history, and our democracy itself. We stopped Trump once, we'll stop him again. Education is power, and we will never let them take that away from us. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Chairman Leverett's recognized for an order. Chairman Leverett. Give the gentleman the wheel your attention, please.
Bit of a segue, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so pleased today to have some of my dear friends, John Champagne and Mo Callahan, with me today. They were over on the wall somewhere. There they are, waving to me. Please help me welcome these dear friends of ours to the Georgia House.
I know it's hard to believe, but that young lady was a classmate of yours in law school. I don't know what happened to you, but welcome. Yeah, there's that. Welcome to the House. That completes our afternoon orders. We have some announcements. Chairman Chokus, recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, after that nice long weekend, Tuesday morning, 8 o'clock, Small Business will be meeting in 506, and we'll have the Georgia retailers making a presentation. So y'all be there. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Have a good weekend.
Representative Park Cannon's recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Fulton County delegation members, Fulton County education delegation members. We're having our weekly meeting at 1 p.m. today in Capitol Room 216 to discuss local legislation. And we do have a Zoom option. You should have it in your email as well as on your desk. But we really hope to see you there. Please log on at 1 p.m. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Fulton County delegation, 1 p.m. What'd you say, 203? 216, I'm sorry, 216. Chairman Gunther, recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Judiciary Committee will have a photo after we adjourn, so please hang out for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. That completes our announcements and our work for the day. Now, before we come back, we're going to talk about when we're coming back, but we have a couple of birthdays. On Sunday, there's Representative Chaz Cannon. He's not going to allow us to wish him a happy birthday. His birthday is on Sunday, March 23rd. Representative Chaz Cannon, and we'll wish him a happy birthday. And on Monday, boy, he took off too. Representative Brian Prince will celebrate another birthday on Monday, the 24th. Let's wish a happy birthday to both of these young men. Members, if you have a page, be sure you come down and let's get a page photo. So with that, I will recognize the majority leader of this House for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that this House stand adjourned until 10 a.m. on Tuesday, March 25th, 2025.
On the motion of the majority leader of this House, stand adjourned until 10 a.m. Tuesday,